Hello there, greetings. We're just going to do another short video, not live. Eventually, we'll go back to that. I just got done with work about an hour and a half ago, trying to get my energy working. So I was going to do a quick channeling and call it a night. I'll be back for a webinar tomorrow. And those that submitted questions, I was going to answer some questions tonight. I have no energy for it. I was going to, so I'm still stuck on Saturday. So probably be just answering stuff on from last Saturday. So I'm going as quickly as I can. It's only so much because I have work, and then even when I leave work early, it's not early enough apparently. So normally what happened, I was do the webinar tonight, and then Friday I'd catch up on a good portion of it. And I can't do that today, so I think that's it for the late working late. So it should be okay for the rest of the month, as far as I can tell. So I'm trying to keep my operations going well here. As for vision and thinking, it's been a long week. Trying to get my thoughts together. Oh yeah, I did that video yesterday about the moon, and I felt a reptilian presence here. I was not too pleased, but I didn't get attacked or anything, so that's good. I just felt them around. I don't normally feel them around, not really, but I did feel their presence around, so it's all right. So there was something there they wanted to be seen, that's for sure. But yeah, I think vortexes can be seen, portals can be seen also. This all depends on your frequency and what you're ready to see, and many things of that. So yeah, everything can be seen for sure through your third eye, and even physically. Eventually these things will become more real. Just takes time, but anyway. So yeah, many of us, including myself, are in third dimensional mode. You can say fourth dimension, third dimensional mode. As for your mission, and as difficult as it is, it's overcoming. We're dealing with it for a reason. We have our purposes for it. We're undercover aliens. Of course, everybody here is an alien to a certain degree. Not all humans connect with it because they've been here so many times. I think also a lot of new souls are here, meaning souls that not new yet, made, like, who knows? Just they haven't had a whole lot of experiences. I guess some of us have come from other universes, and we're like, order them dirt. I don't know my history. I don't know if I want to know, but not right now, at least. Eventually, anyway. But a lot of souls, at least newer souls that have not come to this world, let's put it that way. Not new as probably, I mean, you can be thousands or maybe probably millions of years old, but if you haven't really experienced a lot of heartache, you're still kind of a new soul in a lot of ways. And at least when it comes to this world, let's put it that way. So when you come here over and over again, it does kind of wear on you after a while. Or those that just showed up one time, it kind of wears on you after a while. So as you can tell, a lot of souls that are here are too. They're here to see what this place has got, and they're excited about it. And you talk about aliens, and then they shoot you down, and they're all here. Spirit world's here. We can't see it. Doesn't mean it. So we're being observed constantly. I don't have the full details of it, how exactly it works, but we're under the microscope for sure. I don't know if I need to know the details. Probably drive us crazy if we knew everything. Some of us already pretty much have an idea how it works. There's no privacy. And they're always around us. They're always around us, yes. As for watching us 24 hours a day, probably not. But it is quite, interesting to connect from their point of view to see to see us, because we're like, we're in the zoo. We go to the zoo and look at animals. Wow, so I feel so bad for those animals that are in the zoo. Yeah, well, might want to take a look from another perspective, because at least they know they are caged. We don't think we are, but we are. So it all depends on however you want to look at it. But we're kind of like we're in a giant sized zoo. Of course, you have freedom to roam around, but not as far as we'd like to go. As you can tell, unless you're rich, but even there, you still have limitations, or you're selling out or whatever it might be that causes you to be rich or whatever it is. Either way, we're all part of, we don't have to look at it like we're in a cage, but you can look at it because that's not exactly the most lovely way of looking at it, but we are some kind of, whatever you want to call it, but we are obviously being observed. However, because that's kind of like you put it like a negative, so it's not real. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's a lesson. We're all in school. We're all in university. That's another way. This is the Harvard of worlds. That's for sure. And other beings are here observing us every day. One thing I did get a download here. I was going to do a channeling right now, but I did get a download also of, now this doesn't go for everyone that is like this, but for some, from gathering, imagine, those that are like perfectionists, it doesn't go for everybody, but something to think into. Those that are super perfectionists, they come from societies where, I would say, Arcturian societies, probably others, that, perfection is normal. It's part of your everyday life. You just don't have to try, you do it. Nothing ever is perfect, but, it's pretty up there. Now, there might be higher dimensional beings, meaning more higher than 5D probably. I don't know the whole details of it, but you're used to being at a high. Yeah, as I said, it always has to be Arcturian. It could also be you're just so used to being in the spirit world too, or you said that frequency, around that frequency where you're so used to perfection, and you come to this world, more perfected in this world. And you always strive for perfection, but perfection came so easily. You come to this world, and so you're trying to meet up those expectations that you're normally used to. And of course, that's the challenge. This world doesn't really, you have to lower your expectations. Well, however you want to look at it. Some people just strive for perfection, drive themselves crazy, don't accomplish anything, however you want to word it. There's nothing wrong with trying to be perfect, of course, but this world doesn't make it. It's hard to be perfect here when none of us can think clearly as it is. So it's not meant to be perfect here, that's for sure. Either way, however you want to look at that, that's the download I got. It was a partial download of where some of this is coming from. This is probably pretty obvious, but I've just this is a recent download that might be of use purpose for somebody. So there's probably not much to do that. It's been a long day. Okay, all right. For those that are new to all this, I'll go this real quick. Because I'mToller.com. I have private sessions that are not open this week anymore. I close off Saturday and Sunday so I can get my brain working again. I also have Google Hangouts, Skype, and Zoom channeling by phone. It's all recorded, hopefully, for the most part. And we also have, you can submit a question. This is where I'm pretty much stuck on Saturday. I'll be doing all my catching up on Saturday. And also we have iPhone and whatever this is, Google. A Google app just basically see what's going on, see the videos, things of that sort. We have submit a question healing, spirit social. We have here submit a question healing, past life regression. Message from Yeshua, refinement healing, channeling consulting. We have channeling connections. One question from a day, chakra healing from a day, soul painting from Stephanie, and gel Reiki from Miguel. So, much appreciate everyone that is supporting this communication, this broadcast. I do my best as for do what I can for delivering information. Hopefully, it is helpful. I do it on not a long. Sometimes I make long videos. Sometimes I make very short ones, as we are about to do today. So as long as so much information one can gather in a one sitting. We also have the Jake from Space comic. Should be in the link down below if I remember to put it there. And so it's Amazon's kind of getting it straightened out, sort of. It's on the same page of print. And the Kindle version still not fully propagating all the way, but either way, it is it's in operation status. It's coming from other vendors, which is kind of weird. It still haven't got through the system yet. And because it should have the Prime where you get for 2 days or whatever it is. And even the Kindle has some kind of glitch in, but for the most part, it's all right. But either way, it's not going as smoothly. I didn't pay attention to the other one, but either way. There's like one fix I need to do on the Kindle. Nothing that will be updated anyway if I can make the change on it. It's in the beginning of it. It has a weird something is, I don't know what they're doing over there, but I'm surprised they approved it. But it's something on their part, something to do with the formatting. Some kind of weird. It's a graphics glitch. Nothing that no one would probably notice it, but you probably don't think anything of it's weird. I'm just surprised they approved it, but this has to do with their converting it to Kindle. It's their deal. So, but for the most part, it's fine. So, all right. Thank you for these connections and everything, for sharing, letting people know of this channel and what's going on. I don't pay attention to the numbers, but I imagine they're doing quite well. So, whatever they are. So, all right. What do we have here? I figured I'd give you a treat. I'm not sure if it's a treat or not, but either way. I haven't done this one in a while. Always here. I've done Galactic Federation Light several times, but I have not done this other group. I feel I'll try something a little bit different. Usually I go to the parks when I do the theme park stuff. I bring them in. Yeah, I just think about them and they show up. So without further ado, here we go. Blessings and happy connections. I asked for shadow government information, whatever they can bring publicly, whatever is fun information that's useful, a bit different perspective. Obviously, it won't be too classified or won't be on YouTube anymore. They're not going to allow that to come through anyway. Most people aren't going to believe me anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I don't know what the story was with YouTube. YouTube is it's an anomaly that I don't think will ever be quite understood. Why some channels are alive and some channels are gone. It's the Wild West for sure. One thing for sure, I know I need to get going, but one thing for sure, I was going to make this. If if I have funding or whatever it might be, I would do my own video platform. Just forget use YouTube, but use the other one as a backup. Because you never know what's going to happen to this thing. So I might consider that still. So put up old stuff. Just you never know you never know. So all right, here we go. Blessings and happy connections. There's a cat here, if you're wondering. He's all right. You okay over there? Yeah. Greetings. This is Agent N. Blessings, MIB. Blessings to you humans. Y'all, you guys are just a lovable bunch. Oh, yes. What is going on today for your planet, your update? From our perspective, yes, many reptilians are having difficulties connecting to humans, meaning they're no longer able to be under the mind control as they're used to. And who gets the blunt of that tension? Yes, we do. Also, yes, there is a might be presence as for why YouTube channels disappear, as for alien content. We can't go into details of it, but that's we'll let you figure that one out on your own. That is fine. One moment. But yes, many reptilian beings are much involved with your entertainment system. And also, interesting enough, allowing some of this awakening to occur. Not they do. It's like if you can't beat them, join them in some regard. So some of your reptilian beings that are not exactly the most friendliest beings on your planet are causing sabotage, allowing some of these leaks to occur also. Basically, they have their methods to their madness. As like you lose control of one area, you grab control somewhere else. So you let the old media die and you take over the new media, basically, and give you kind of the illusion of change, but there's really no change at all. Just to give you an idea of how that works. One moment. At this time, yes, you're North Korea, not to worry. Yes, it might be a lot of loud and scuffy things. What is going on? Yes, you do not care much for the shadow government energies, and so they're not necessarily threatening the world, they're threatening those of your elite system, basically what your North Korea is doing. Is he's tired of being sabotaged and mind manipulated and whatever it might be that is around the corner for him. He's not easy to manipulate. He's not doing what he's being told, basically. So many want him out. It is unlikely for him to leave his position at this time. Reason being that many of the elite systems of your Asian groups want him to stay. And yes, there are many different type of Illuminati energies. There is Arab, there is white American, there is Asian. I believe I mentioned that. So there's different types of Illuminati energies, even a Russian version. No, we don't have a McDonald's version of it. Well, that doesn't matter. What is going on in your planet today? Most of one moment. What is happening is much of your online programming, meaning your day-to-day talk shows, much of that will be phased out eventually. Your morning programs, your morning Joe, that kind of human programming will eventually die out. You kind of already see it. It's going to take some time, but most of those of your newbie souls want nothing to do with it. A lot of the elites are taking over alternative media. Also, you're probably already seeing this in certain areas. So what can you truly trust? There is trust energy in the alternative media, but also there's a fabrication of manipulation going on. You can see it has to do with, some of it has to do with fear mongering. Along with it, there is another version of propaganda there that is sneaking itself in. Why? Is because to help with income, to keep the entertainment going. Your media is very built on entertainment now, isn't it? It is another form of manipulation that is told as the norm, but it's there to program your humans. Now, understand also your media will eventually, what we are seeing, go into a complete collapse eventually. This is part of also of your ascension energies, are not allowing that manipulation to come in anymore. This will happen sometime in your future, but it will happen eventually. You're all kind of seeing it in some ways. You're seeing the possibilities of the media cracking open little by little, and that will continue to evolve. But right now, there is much going on. As for your elites, already have a program in place. It's just where they're going to take your world. Of course, they're not going to be very clear with it, but they're going to come. They'll basically, how they operate is they'll put a face in front of you, but they'll come from the back to really, I know that sounds very strange, but they don't want to be seen. But so they are very, how they operate does not, yes, it's does not make any, well, either way, they don't want to be known to, so they do come from another point of view, basically. One moment. Also, to give you more details, your Saturn planet is actually being quite manipulated. Other worlds can be manipulated, manipulates your world. So when beings cannot manipulate your planet, it's like, okay, this place has been super policed by positive beings. We can't have any fun here. So they go to other worlds and start screwing around with their vibration, because the worlds around you, even other planets, can affect you. The ones in your solar system obviously affect yours easily, especially your moon. So they go to your Saturn and start basically screwing around the vibrations. Basically, they can send off an attack onto your world through vibrational energies, and it's not always easily detected either. It is, oh yes, it's a normal anomaly, but yes, it's cloaked with a hidden essence that goes on. So this is what also causes some of your weather anomalies. In some cases, it does rupture your earth, and in some ways, as for earthquakes also. As for why I'm going into this is for you to dissect on your own, of course. Just something to think about. Many of you are probably picking up on it right now as I speak. I hear you now. One moment. Yes, as for your U.S. government, yes, you can say your U.S. government, your UN is technically, yes, Illuminati front, yes. But also, U.S. government is part of your military side of the Illuminati. So you're wondering where, yes, you can see that, I imagine, the NATO, nothing like here. Of course, the other militaries are much stronger, but still the U.S. still has a pretty good punch. But yes, these are other Illuminati energies that are moving in. As you can see, not everybody is getting along. But for the most part, your U.S. still has a strong hand. As for how long that's going to last, that is up in the air. But much of your military, what is going to happen is your militaries are going to eventually slowly collapse. We have no use for them. You're not ready for it yet, but eventually that will happen. And this is part of your ascension process also. A finding peace. But finding peace must cause war, but not as you might think. More like intellectual war, meaning war to end war. I know that sounds very strange, but many are just, as you can see, protesters tired of war. But there's also going to be another phase of just absolutely just done with war altogether. So there might be some scuffling across your world in your future timelines. I say might be because I can't get involved with it. Well, we can't get I can't get involved with. Let's put it that way. As reduced communication. Yes, this would be sometime in your future, but this is up to your human collective. Yes, there would be peace wars, but also intellectual wars to basically just disarm the planet. Some of it's in different energy sources of different phases of how this will come about. It doesn't have to be a big war to end war, no, but it will be a war of the mind, as you're already kind of going through it already. But also your governments are going to be making the major steps in it, but that's due to the people as for changing things finally. Right now, your people are not really in the place for that, but eventually there'll be certain events to occur in your future time to allow it to occur. You're already seeing certain things in your media happen, situation of events, other places will happen in your military, eventually government too. First, so from what we are seeing, will happen mostly in your military first, and then it'll hit your government. So your military will change, and then your government will change. But your people are going to change along with it. Basically, frustration from your people will occur, basically. As if your world is basically finding more peace, and your world has to find some regard war to bring in this peace. It is a war planet to a certain degree, but not fully. It is going to a mostly a peaceful energy. You know, I see wars all across the world. In certain areas, yes, those are getting manipulated at this time, such as going to like a serial killer type of vibration that has a reptilian controlled mind control, and also realize a lot of them have done this in other incarnations too. They're following up of some of them have been assassins in other incarnations, such as those become serial killers. They're used to assassinating. And so when they incarnate in a peaceful life body, they don't know what to do with it. So they do what they know that's best, what they're good at, basically, to give you kind of a little more clearing understanding of why these things happen. And they come out of nowhere because there's a sophistication energy there. And reason we are bringing this up is much needed to know. As your dimensions are opening up, your fourth and fifth dimensions are opening up more closely to your planet slowly. And your Illuminati energies are well aware. They're even showing themselves as you go through your third eye, your meditations, and see this Illuminati energy. It will become more like a TV show, meaning you're going to be sitting in their couches, in their throne rooms or palaces, and you're going to be having a conversation with them. In your dream state and other places, it's going to become more and more known to those that are ready. And this will become, yes, because your elite energies are allowing the doors to open to those that are ready. They want to see what you are doing. They want to see truly what they're dealing with here, because they do feel threatened, because many of you are not afraid of them. You realize they exist, but you're not trying to cause a difficulty with them. And there's, because many of you are looking at them, connecting to them, and that is something they don't feel comfort with. So there's much of a energy there that is still uneasy, as many of you see. So what's going on in your planet is a transition, a major one. And what will continue on is your elite energies are going to see your Earth for what it is. Meaning those of you that are going to a higher vibration are going to see tremors in your dimensions over time. See this, not just your skies, roads change. People are going to change form too if you're seeing it at a higher vibration. The reason we are allowed to bring this in is because we are seeing it. We're getting slapped in the face by it, basically, what's going on here. And as for your society, as for the MIB energies, realize that we have stations across your planet to keep your Earth quiet of extraterrestrial life. As yes, there's many agendas that are not exactly human friendly, the agendas of the elites, basically. We are, MIB energies are more like custodians of the Illuminati, basically. The reptilian, but also, yes, the military, yes, we're above the military. We can manipulate their vibrations, even have them do what we want them to do if we wanted to. Most of the time, we don't bother with that, but we can. But basically, the idea is to keep extraterrestrial life off this planet, so agendas of your elites can continue on. Now, there's also different different timelines where humans are finally being allowed to see extraterrestrial life, but it's going to be highly manipulated. Meaning that the aliens are being allowed to connect to humans, meaning on a public forum, meaning part of your culture will be manipulated. That's not entirely going to happen. There's different versions of it that we are seeing, but many of you will see right through it too. But your humans still have difficulties connecting to that vibration, as it is still going through a self-love issue, as you can see. So sees us as fairy tales, which is quite humorous. They haven't seen us, but trust me, there's so many beings on your planet. Human is like the second thing we think about. Meaning, we realize this is an Earth-human world, but there's so many different extraterrestrials here. We almost forget that humans are even here half the time. There's so much busyness going on in our society. From our perspective, humans come second, actually. It's like you're in the background mostly. We are in the foreground. Your alien world is really the first world. Your Earth is mostly the second world. I know that sounds kind of strange, but this is the worker bee society. You can say in some regard, to keep the elites rich, to keep them, this is however you want to word it, but the population, to keep the money flowing for those at the top of the pyramid, basically. So second-rate citizens, basically. You can be a millionaire and still be a second-rate citizen. You can be a billionaire. And the billionaires are usually the tools of the elites, basically, spooning the fortunes, if that makes sense to you. So what is going on now is your planet is going a transition where you are going to see these elites and these billionaires become trillionaires and even $1 heirs, meaning penniless eventually, as you're going to be breaking down your money system eventually. That corkscrew will be, it's not ready yet to happen, but eventually. And your elites are far more ready for it, for sure. But basically, your pattern here is to change the roofs, change everything of this dimension. Of the roof sounds kind of bizarre, but change your dimensional vibration altogether. So you realize that your dimension is weaker than it's ever been, actually. The third dimension is not as strong as it used to be. As you let workers continue in your vibration, you break it down. You might not see it fully, but you are breaking it down. For yourselves, for sure. For others, in certain ways. You're basically becoming stronger with your abilities. Just believe it, because it's with you. The more you don't, many of you, maybe I'm not quite there. Trust me. The more open your mind is, the more the third dimension weakens. Let's put it that way. You realize what's going on here. Your third dimension weakens. Because you're allowing more of the higher frequencies to connect. Even if you're not feeling it, it's still happening. We're all going through a transitional phase. And this is where truly you're assisting with the breakdowns. Not fully, because many of the third dimensions are not ready for this. We are part of the synergy of its transition, basically a mixture into fourth and fifth. The mixture has begun for some time, but it's getting stronger and stronger. It is basically, many of you are seeing through the third and fourth to fifth dimensions more easier than ever before, and that will continue to do so. And as for your aliens becoming more prominent in your present, That is becoming a real deal for some of you, yes. For some of you, yes. Most population, even us as the MIB energies are not allowed to interfere with your connections because they're not really breaking the law. You are seeing them, you're allowing them into your vibration. So, into your vision, we cannot interfere with that. What we can interfere is with ships being seen that are part of a military energy, basically. For the most part, your Galactic Federation of Light does not want to interfere. But as you humans reach out to your alien friends, that is a different story because you have all rights here. Yes, we might try to interfere, but most time we can't because you do have more power here than you realize. Remember, you do have the power here. So take back your power, basically, is our main message at this time. The reason why I'm saying I don't care. The more free you become, more free we become. Some of us don't care we like being slaves, but a lot of us are kind of tired of it. We're allowed to communicate to see how humans tick also. Why are we allowed to do this? To see how you tick, see what you do. The more I don't believe it, fine. Yeah, we're gonna go sit in our corner and well those elites are going to be happy about that. But those of you that are awakened, your reality will break down. This third dimension reality will continue to fall apart. It will. It's going to become more and more open. The more and more you believe who you are and how high dimensional you truly are, this dimension cannot beat you. I think I have been here way too long. I'm Agent N. I'm sending you energies. There's more. I'll let you piece together what I brought in. There's more, but yes, I cannot go into more though. But I'll let you sit with that. Okay, blessings.